Hello. You know, sometimes you start out with the best of intentions and still end up uncovering the kind of truth you wish you hadn't. What began as a sweet, well-meant surprise trip to Baltimore with my kids ended up turning into a moment I never imagined, one that shook everything I thought was solid. Just one hotel door, one unexpected moment, and nearly 2 decades of marriage started to unravel right before my eyes. Folks always say what happens behind hotel doors stays behind those doors, but not everything stays buried. Some things have a way of coming out, whether you're ready or not. Name's Daniel Morgan, though my friends just call me Dan. I'm 51 years old, been married to my wife, Jessica, for close to 20 years. We've got 2 amazing kids, Ethan, my 16-year-old who's suddenly shooting up like a weed, and Chloe, our little 11-year-old ray of sunshine who still believes her dad can do just about anything. That Thursday morning felt like any other when Jessica was out of town for work. She'd been away for 4 days already on a consulting gig in Baltimore, with 3 more to go, 7 days in total, which was longer than usual, and the kids and I were definitely starting to feel it. I missed her. We all did. So I came up with this idea, why not take the kids and fly out to surprise her? The thought hit me while I was sitting at the breakfast table, watching Chloe lazily stir her cereal around. I set down my coffee mug and said, "What if we went to see Mom this weekend?" Her face lit up like it was Christmas morning. "For real? Just show up?" she asked, all wide-eyed. "Yeah," I nodded, feeling a grin spread across my face. "Why not?" I figured we could grab some flights, be in Baltimore by the next evening, and completely catch her off guard in the best way possible. I imagined the look on her face when she opened the door and saw us standing there. Even Ethan, who was glued to his phone as usual, looked up and said, "That'd actually be kind of cool." Which, coming from a teenager, might as well have been a standing ovation. By noon, I'd cashed in a favor at work to get Thursday and Friday off, made arrangements for the kids to skip school, and booked us 3 tickets to Baltimore. The whole time, I kept picturing Jessica's reaction, maybe some happy tears, definitely a shocked smile. It had been a long time since I'd pulled off anything romantic like this. I tried calling her that morning to test the waters, but the call went straight to voicemail. Not too unusual when she was knee-deep in client meetings. I shot her a text. "Miss you. Kids are wondering when you'll be home. Love you." No reply. That was a little out of the ordinary, but I chalked it up to a packed schedule. That evening, as I was packing our bags, I gave her another ring, still nothing. A small pit started forming in my gut, but I brushed it off. Baltimore was hosting a huge conference that week. Her calendar was probably packed with networking events and late-night meetups. In her world of high-stakes consulting, that kind of thing wasn't unusual. And Jessica? She knew how to work a room like a pro, smart, sharp, and always dressed to impress. Later that night, while I was tucking Chloe in, she held her stuffed bunny tight and looked up at me with those big, hopeful eyes. "Do you think Mommy's gonna cry when she sees us?" she asked softly. "Maybe," I said, giving her a kiss on the forehead. "It's gonna be the best surprise ever." At the time, I truly believed that. I had no clue just how far from the truth I was. What we were walking into in Baltimore wasn't the kind of surprise I had planned. It was one that would turn our world upside down. The flight itself wasn't long, but it felt like forever. Ethan had his headphones in, lost in whatever music he was into. Chloe was full of energy, chattering about all the things she wanted to tell her mom. And me? I just sat there between them, trying to push down this creeping sense of unease I couldn't quite explain. I called Jessica 4 more times before we even boarded. Every call went to voicemail, didn't even ring. I sent another text. "Hope your meetings are going well. Miss you." The message showed as delivered, but there was still no response. "Dad, why do you keep checking your phone every 5 seconds?" Ethan asked, sliding one side of his headphones off. "Just confirming the rental car," I said with a tight smile, trying to sound casual. But the truth was, something didn't sit right. We'd been together almost 20 years. We'd had our share of ups and downs, sure, but she'd never completely gone silent like this before. At the very least, she always found time to check in with the kids. When we finally touched down at the Baltimore airport, I gave her one more call. Still went a voicemail. This time, I left a message, trying to keep my voice light and upbeat. "Hey babe, just wanted to check in. Call me when you get a sec, okay?" Getting the rental car turned out to be a mess. Wrong reservation, long lines, Chloe needing the bathroom twice. It was chaos. By the time we finally got on the road toward the hotel, it was already after 8 p.m. Traffic had died down, but the city was buzzing with that typical Thursday night energy. I'm hungry, Chloe whined from the back seat. Yeah, me too, Ethan added, now fully off his phone. Can we eat before we see Mom? Let's get to the hotel first, I said, gripping the steering wheel a little tighter. Maybe she can join us for a late dinner. As we pulled up to the Harbor Crest Hotel where Jessica was staying, that uneasy feeling in my gut grew stronger. I tried calling again, and this time, oddly enough, it rang. But she didn't pick up. The hotel's revolving doors spun open and greeted us with a warm gust of air. Inside, the lobby was all polished marble and soft lighting, classy, elegant, and completely unaware that my entire life was about to change. Ethan and Chloe looked around the lobby, clearly impressed by how fancy everything was. Jessica always stayed at high-end places whenever her company footed the bill. You guys hang tight here, I told them, motioning towards some comfy-looking couches. I'm going to check us in and find out which room Mom's staying in. Chloe bounced a little on her toes. Can we surprise her right away? I nodded, trying to sound upbeat, even though something inside me was starting to twist. Yep, that's the plan, sweetheart. As I walked up to the front desk, I had no clue I was about to step into a moment that would flip my whole world upside down. Good evening, sir. How can I assist you? The young woman behind the counter asked with a professional smile. I cleared my throat. I'd like to check in, and I also need to reach my wife, Jessica Morgan. She's staying here. She started typing. Let me take a look for you. A few seconds passed. Yes, Mrs. Morgan is checked in with us. Would you like me to ring her room? Please, I said, a wave of relief washing over me. At least she was here. The woman dialed, waited, then her brow furrowed. I'm sorry, there's no answer. Could you try again? I asked, that knot in my stomach starting to tighten. Maybe she just didn't hear it. She gave it another shot, but still shook her head. Still nothing. Would you like to leave a message? No, that's okay. I handed over my credit card. We'll just go ahead and check in. It's a surprise visit. She's not expecting us. For a second, something flickered in her expression, maybe hesitation. I see, she said, her voice softer now. Let me get you all set. She processed everything, then handed me 2 room keys. You're in 734. Mrs. Morgan is in 716. I blinked. Different floors? She shook her head. No, same floor. Just a few doors apart. Then she paused and added, It looks like Mrs. Morgan checked in with a +1 though. Everything seemed to freeze for a second. A +1? What do you mean? Her expression changed, like she regretted saying anything. The reservation lists 2 guests in the room. I assumed. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have mentioned that. I gave a weak laugh that even I didn't believe. No worries. Probably a coworker. Maybe sharing to cut costs. But deep down, I knew that wasn't it. Jessica's company never made them share rooms. They prided themselves on offering private accommodations. I gathered our luggage and went back to the kids, my head spinning. A work friend, I tried to tell myself. Maybe another female consultant. Or, I didn't let the rest of that thought finish. Did you find Mom? Chloe asked, practically buzzing with excitement. Not yet, sweetheart, I said. Let's head up to our room and freshen up first. The elevator ride was quiet, except for Chloe humming to herself. Ethan gave me a look. He knew something wasn't right, but thankfully he didn't say a word. Our room was nice, just your typical upscale hotel setup. I dropped the bags and took a deep breath. Can we go see Mom now? Chloe asked, eyes full of hope. In a minute. Why don't you 2 wash up a little first? It's been a long day. While they got cleaned up, I slipped out into the hallway and walked slowly toward room 716. My heart was pounding in my chest as I lifted my hand to knock. No answer. I knocked again, harder this time. Still nothing, but I could hear something. Music. Laughter. My blood ran cold. I pulled out my phone and typed a message. I'm outside your hotel room door. Open up. The noise inside went quiet. Then, I heard a man's voice. Muffled, but there. I shut my eyes, and deep down, I knew exactly what was happening behind that door. It opened slowly. Jessica stood there in a bathrobe, hair a mess, face flushed. Her expression twisted. First shock, then fear, and strangely, a hint of annoyance. Daniel? What are you doing here? She whispered harshly, stepping into the hallway and pulling the door nearly shut behind her. I just stared, not able to speak at first. After a long second, I managed to say, surprise. The kids and I came to visit you, I added, voice flat. Her eyes widened. The kids are here? At the hotel. In our room. Just down the hall. I could hear how hollow my voice sounded. They've been looking forward to seeing you all day. She ran a hand through her hair, glancing nervously toward the room behind her. You should have called first, Dan. You should have called. I did. Over and over. I crossed my arms. Who's in your room, Jessica? She winced like the question hit her. It's not what you think. Really? I asked, staring at her. Because it looks like you've got another man in there. Am I wrong? That's when the door behind her creaked open a little more, and a man stepped into view. He was tall and fit, looked to be around 42 years old. He was in the middle of buttoning his shirt. Jessica, everything all right out here? He asked casually. My vision narrowed in on him, my ears ringing. He just called her Jessica, my name for her. Who on earth are you? I asked, my voice low and tight. Dan, please. Jessica jumped in quickly, but I wasn't having it. No, I snapped. I want to hear it from him. I stepped closer, not blinking. Who are you? And why are you in my wife's hotel room? The guy looked thrown off, eyes bouncing from me to Jessica and back. I'm Logan. I'm with the Cleveland office, he said, offering his hand, then awkwardly pulling it back. I didn't know Jessica was married. That hit like a punch to the gut. I turned toward Jessica. She had the decency to look a little guilty, but not nearly enough. You told him you were single? My voice barely made it out. Jessica shut her eyes for a second. Can we please not do this out in the hallway? Logan, maybe you should go. Yeah, Logan, I repeated, the anger rising in me. That'd be a good idea. Logan held his hands up like he didn't want trouble. Look, man, I had no idea. She never mentioned a husband or kids. He ducked back inside, grabbed his jacket, and walked past us quickly. Then it was just me and Jessica standing there in thick, choking silence. 18 years, Jessica, I finally said, my voice flat. 18 years together, and now you're getting involved with some guy on a work trip? It's not what you think, she snapped, her guilt flipping into defensiveness. You don't get it. Then explain it to me, I said, stepping toward her. Explain how our kids flew across the country to surprise their mom and walked into this. She looked away, eyes darting. You should have called first. That broke something in me. The nerve. Are you serious right now? You're blaming me because I didn't give you a heads up before catching you cheating. Keep your voice down, she hissed, glancing nervously down the hallway. The kids are waiting, I reminded her. Chloe's been excited all day to see you. Finally, I saw it, some guilt in her eyes. Give me 10 minutes to get dressed. I'll come to your room. I turned to go, but stopped at the last second. How long's this been going on, Jessica? She couldn't even look me in the eye. It was just this once. A mistake. But Logan's words rang in my head. I didn't know Jessica was married. No, this wasn't a mistake. It was a choice. And as I walked back down the hall toward our room, I knew things weren't ever going back to the way they were. Each step felt heavier than the last, like I was dragging my entire life behind me. How do you face your kids after that? What do you even say? I stopped just outside the door and took a deep breath, trying to rearrange my face into something normal. The key card beeped. I stepped inside. Dad? Did you find Mom? Chloe hopped off the bed, her face lit up with hope. Ethan glanced up from his phone, reading my face way too well. What's wrong? He asked. That boy was sharp. Too sharp. She'll be here in a few minutes, I said, keeping it together. She was surprised. Is she happy? Did she cry? Chloe asked, clapping her hands. She was definitely surprised, I said, dodging Ethan's eyes. How about we order room service? I bet you're both starving after the flight. Already on it, Ethan replied, still eyeing me. Burgers and fries, Chloe chirped. And chocolate cake. I forced a smile. Perfect. A knock on the door made Chloe leap up. Mom's here. Before I could stop her, she threw open the door and ran into Jessica's arms. Jessica stood there looking like nothing had happened. Hair done. Makeup fresh. Wearing her work outfit. 10 minutes ago, I'd seen her in a robe with another man. Now, you'd think she just got out of a business meeting. Mommy. Chloe squealed, wrapping her arms around her. Ah, sweetheart, Jessica said, hugging her back. What a surprise. Her eyes met mine over Chloe's head, silently begging me to go along with the act. For the kids. Ethan didn't move. Just sat on the bed, arms crossed. Hey, Mom, he said flatly. Jessica walked over and kissed the top of his head. Hey, buddy. I swear you've grown since I left. It's been a week, Mom, he said without emotion. Silence followed, thick and awkward. until Chloe broke it with her bubbly chatter about our trip. Jessica listened as Chloe spoke, nodding here and there, occasionally sneaking glances my way, but I couldn't bring myself to meet her eyes. Dad said we could all have dinner together, Chloe said brightly. Room service is bringing burgers. Jessica's smile twitched, just for a second. That sounds great, sweetheart, but I actually have a dinner tonight. Work-related. Important clients. I let out a sharp laugh before quickly covering it with a cough. Chloe's face fell right away. But we came all the way here to see you, she said, her voice cracking. I know, baby, and I'm so glad you did. Jessica tried to soothe her. I promise, tomorrow I'm all yours. We'll explore, do whatever you want. Then she turned to me. Dan, can I talk to you in the hallway for a sec? Ethan rolled his eyes. Wow, real smooth, Mom. I followed her out, making sure the door stayed open a crack just in case Chloe needed me. A work dinner, I said as soon as we were alone. That what we're calling it now? Her fake calm started to slip. Dan, please. I need time to sort things out. Sort what out? Trying to make your stories match. I kept my voice low so the kids wouldn't hear, though my anger was bubbling underneath. You've always known how to twist things, Jessica. You've only gotten better at it. She flinched, like the words hit her right in the gut. That's not fair. Not fair. I leaned in. You know what's not fair? Chloe made me go to 3 different stores looking for that ridiculous travel pillow she loves, so she could bring it to you. Ethan, he actually helped me book the flights, put his phone down and everything. They were both so excited. Do you even get that? Tears welled in her eyes. Dan, I made a horrible mistake. I know I did. But please, don't tell the kids. Not yet. And what am I supposed to do? Pretend everything's normal while you go wine and dine your way through damage control. It really is a client dinner, she said quickly. Logan's not going to be there. I swear. I need this deal, Dan. It's worth millions to the firm. I stared at her, really looked at her, and realized I didn't recognize who I was looking at anymore. Your career. That's what you're worried about. No, of course not. She ran a hand through her hair, frustrated. I'm just trying to keep everything from falling apart at once. Please, just give me tonight. There's nothing left to figure out, I said quietly. You broke our trust. You weren't honest with the kids. You've been living a whole other life, and I don't even know for how long. She reached for my hand, but I pulled back. It wasn't a double life, she whispered. It was just one mistake. Logan's voice echoed in my mind. I didn't know Jessica was married. Save it, I muttered. Go to your dinner. I'll take care of our children. What are you going to tell them? She asked, voice shaky. I haven't figured that out yet, I said, hand on the doorknob. But one thing's for sure, I won't lie to them. Inside, Chloe was bouncing on the bed like nothing had happened, still full of energy and joy. Is Mom coming to dinner with us? I swallowed hard. Not tonight, sweetheart. She's got an important work thing she can't miss. Her smile faded, and seeing that crushed look in her eyes, it tore me up inside. But we surprised her, she said softly. I know, I said, pulling her into a hug. And you really did surprise her. She just needs to finish some work tonight. That's all. But guess what? Tomorrow, she's all yours. The whole day. Ethan was watching me closely. Hard to read what was going on behind his eyes. Where's she going? He asked, voice calm but direct. Client dinner, I said. Even saying the words felt like swallowing broken glass. Uh-huh, he said, looking back down at his phone. Whatever. Chloe, ever the sunshine, bounced back fast. Can we go see the Baltimore harbor tonight? Ava said there are cool lights and boats. The thought of sightseeing while my life was crashing down seemed impossible, but Chloe's hopeful little face melted that resistance. Sure. Why not? I said. Let's eat, then we'll check it out. Sweet, she grinned, grabbing a French fry from the tray. This is still the best surprise ever, Dad. Ethan met my gaze over his phone and raised an eyebrow, like he could see straight through me. I gave a small shake of my head. Not now. I'll tell you later. He nodded slightly. At just 16, he was already more man than kid, and I was grateful for that. Later, we walked along the harbor. Chloe skipped ahead, pointing out every boat like it was the coolest thing in the world. Ethan came up beside me, walking quietly for a moment before saying, Mom's cheating, isn't she? The words hit like a sucker punch. I nearly stumbled. Ethan, just be straight with me, Dad. I'm not a little kid anymore. I looked over at my son, tall, serious, and suddenly looking more like a man than a boy. Yeah, I said quietly. I think she is. I didn't know what else to say. His question hit hard, way too grown up for a 16-year-old. After a moment, I asked, what makes you say that? While watching Chloe run ahead to check out a huge yacht dock nearby. Ethan dug his hands into his pockets and gave a small shrug. The way you're acting. The way she looked at you. And when you went to find her earlier, you came back looking like someone had died. Smart kid. Too smart sometimes. I don't want to hide things from you, I said. But this kind of stuff, it's complicated. I'm not a child, Dad, he said firmly. I'd rather know the truth than keep guessing what's going on. I took a deep breath. The cold harbor air burned in my lungs a little. All right. Yeah, I caught your mom with another man. Ethan's jaw tightened, but he didn't look all that shocked. I kind of figured. Ever since she started that consulting job, she's been different. Always texting, working late, flying out more. A wave of nausea rolled over me. Had everyone else seen it but me? You noticed that? I asked. Yeah, and you probably did too. You just didn't want to admit it. There was no blame in his voice. Just quiet understanding. Chloe called to us from farther up the path, waving her little arms. Dad, Ethan, come check out this boat. It's got a helicopter on it. Be right there, sweetie. I called, trying to sound upbeat. Ethan kicked at a rock on the pavement. So what now? Are you guys getting divorced? That word hit me like a hammer. I don't know yet, I said. It just happened. But no matter what, your mom and I both love you and Chloe like crazy. That won't change. He scoffed. If she loved us, she wouldn't have done what she did. It's not that simple, I said, though deep down, I kind of agreed with him. Grown-ups mess up, sometimes badly. This isn't like forgetting to pick up groceries, Ethan muttered. She chose to cheat. We caught up to Chloe, who was pressed up against the railing, eyes wide as she pointed at the massive yacht. Look, Dad, it's bigger than our whole house. I lifted her onto my shoulders so she could see better. Pretty cool, huh? As she chattered away about boats and lights, Ethan hung back just a bit, lost in his thoughts. I could tell he was sorting through all of it, trying to figure out where he stood. Don't tell Chloe, he said quietly while she was distracted by a passing tour boat. She still thinks Mom is perfect. I won't, I promised. Not yet, but we'll have to tell her the truth one day. He nodded, then leaned lightly against me. A small gesture, but the closest thing to a hug I'd gotten from him in years. We'll be all right, Dad. Me, you, and Chloe. That nearly brought me to my knees. My son was trying to comfort me, but somehow, it gave me strength too. Yeah, I said, pulling him in with one arm. We will. Back at the hotel, Chloe was nodding off on my shoulder, worn out from the long day. Ethan walked quietly beside me, the weight of everything still hanging between us. I'm sleepy, Daddy, Chloe mumbled as we stepped into the elevator. I know, baby girl. We'll get you tucked in soon. I pressed the button for our floor, already dreading what might be waiting on the other side of that elevator door. And sure enough, when the doors opened, there she was, Jessica, standing outside the room, arms folded, tapping her foot like we were late for curfew. Her face changed the moment she saw us. Where have you been? I've been calling you for hours, she said, her voice sharp. We went to the harbor, I said evenly, shifting Chloe's weight on my shoulder. I left my phone in the room. Ethan walked right past her without saying a word, swiped the keycard, and disappeared into the room. Jessica watched him, puzzled. Ethan? What's going on, sweetheart? He didn't even glance back. The door closed behind him. What did you tell him? She hissed at me. The truth, I said calmly. He asked. I wasn't going to lie. Her face went pale. You had no right to do that without talking to me first. Keep your voice down, I warned, glancing at our daughter resting against me. And yes, I did have the right. You gave that up the second you decided to betray this family. Jessica flinched, like my words had physically hit her. Her voice softened. Can we please talk about this like adults? How was dinner with your clients? I asked. Productive, she said tightly. We landed the account. Well, congratulations, I said, unable to mask the bitterness in my voice. Sounds like your career's going great. That's not fair, Dan. Yeah? Well, life's not fair, Jessica. Our son knows his mom cheated, and it won't be long before our daughter figures it out too. None of this is fair. Chloe stirred against my shoulder. Daddy? Why are you and Mommy arguing? Tears welled up in Jessica's eyes. We're not fighting, sweetheart. Just talking about grown-up stuff. It sounded like fighting, Chloe mumbled. I rubbed her back gently. It's all right, princess. Let's get you to bed. I tried to move past Jessica, but she grabbed my arm. Dan, we need to talk. Just the two of us. Not tonight, I said, steady but firm. I need to get our daughter to sleep. Ethan was sitting on his bed when we walked in, headphones on, eyes locked on the wall. He didn't even glance at his mother. I helped Chloe change into her pajamas and tucked her in. Her eyelids were already heavy. Good night, baby girl. Sweet dreams. Night, Daddy. Night, Mommy, she murmured, almost asleep. Jessica lingered awkwardly near the foot of the bed, unsure where she stood in all this. Good night, sweetheart, she whispered and kissed Chloe's forehead. Once Chloe was out cold, Jessica gestured toward the door. Can we talk? In my room. I glanced over at Ethan. His back was still turned. You okay? I asked quietly. He pulled off one earbud. I'm fine. Go talk. Figure this mess out. His voice was flat, drained. Jessica winced at the coldness in his tone but didn't respond. In silence, I followed her into the hallway. We walked down to her room, the same one I'd walked into earlier and seen her with another man. That irony wasn't lost on me. She swiped her keycard, and we stepped inside. The place was spotless now, whatever mess they'd made had been cleaned up. But the betrayal still hung in the air like stale smoke. Ethan hates me, she said finally. He's not angry, he's hurt, I replied. We all are. She sat down on the edge of the bed, her mask finally cracking. I made a terrible mistake, Dan. I don't even know what I was thinking. That's just it, I said, staying by the door. You weren't thinking about us at all. The whole room felt foreign to me now. I didn't even want to touch the furniture. I don't even know where to begin, she admitted, pacing nervously. Try the truth, I said. My voice was steadier than I felt. How long has this been going on? She hesitated just long enough to tell me she was about to lie. It was just this once. A moment of weakness, she said. Logan didn't seem to think it was a one-time deal. I shot back. Said he didn't know you were married. Why would he say that if this was your first time? She exhaled sharply, her shoulders sagging. We've been talking for a few months. Flirting. It started during a conference in Cleveland. So it wasn't your first business trip fling, I said. She closed her eyes. No. Even though I'd suspected, hearing it still hit like a freight train. I had to lean against the wall to stay upright. How many times? I asked. How many guys? Just Logan, she whispered. 3 times. She wiped a tear away. I know that doesn't make it any better. No, it really doesn't, I muttered. 18 years, Jessica. 2 kids. And you gambled it all away. For what? Some thrill? A boost to your ego? It wasn't like that, she said quickly. We drifted apart, Dan. You're always busy with work, the kids. When's the last time you even looked at me? I mean, really looked at me. Not just as a mom or a wife, but as a woman. My blood started to boil. Don't you dare try to blame this on me. If you were feeling lonely or unappreciated, you should have said something. We could have worked through it together. But instead, you lied. You cheated. You broke everything. I know, she whispered. I know that now. And I'm so sorry, Dan. Sorry you did it, or sorry you got caught? I asked. She flinched. That's not fair. None of this is fair, Jessica, I said, shaking my head. Our family is shattered. Ethan can barely look at you. And it's only a matter of time before Chloe puts the pieces together. You threw away everything for a fling with some guy from the Cleveland office. The silence between us was thick. It carried the weight of 18 years together, and the sinking feeling that it might all be coming to an end. So, what now? She finally asked. I turned to her. Took a good, honest look. The woman I'd loved since college, the mother of my kids, and now, a complete stranger. I'm taking the kids home tomorrow, I said softly. First flight out. Dan, please, she whispered. We can fix this. Therapy, a new beginning. I'll do anything. I don't know if I can ever trust you again, I said. And if there's no trust, then what's left? Her face crumbled. 18 years, Dan. A whole life. Our family. I shook my head. A life you didn't think twice about risking. I need to get back to the kids. At the door, she asked, what are you going to tell Chloe? I paused, my hand on the knob. I don't know, but I'll tell her the truth. I owe her that. The flight home was quiet. Chloe was out cold, completely worn out from the emotional storm we'd been through. Ethan had his headphones in, just staring out the window. Every now and then, he looked over at me with this strange mix of concern and maybe respect. I hadn't slept a wink. After the talk with Jessica, I'd walked back into our room to find Ethan still awake. We're leaving in the morning, I told him. He nodded, the relief on his face plain as day. Good. At the airport, Jessica showed up to see us off. Her eyes were swollen from crying. Chloe clung to her, confused and upset. Why can't Mommy come with us? She asked again and again. Mom has to stay and finish work, I'd said, lying through my teeth. She'll be home in a few days. Ethan barely looked at his mom, gave her a stiff, awkward hug before walking onto the plane without even turning around. Now, as the plane started to descend toward home, my mind drifted to what came next, the separation, explaining it all to Chloe, the questions from everyone. Then Ethan spoke, pulling me back to the present. Dad? Yeah, buddy? You okay? The way he asked it, so serious, so grown up, it made my throat tighten. I will be, I told him. We all will. He gave a little nod. That seemed to be enough for him. What happens when we get back? Is Mom coming home too? I sighed. She'll come back to the house eventually. But things are going to be different, Ethan. Your mom and I need to figure out what's best for everyone. You mean you're getting divorced, he said, just like that. Maybe, I said. I'm not sure yet. But no matter what happens between me and your mom, nothing's ever going to change how much we love you and Chloe. Got it. He was quiet for a beat, then said, for what it's worth, I think you're doing the right thing. We deserve better. Hearing that from my son, it hurt, but it also gave me strength. He shouldn't have had to carry any of this. But man, was he strong. When we landed, Chloe woke up and immediately asked where her mom was. That reminder, that life as we knew it was over, hit hard. For weeks later, Jessica and I were sitting at the kitchen table, the divorce papers between us. She'd moved into an apartment across town. Ethan still barely spoke to her. Chloe, well, she was starting to understand, in her own 11-year-old way, that things would never be the same. I never wanted this, Jessica said, pen trembling over the signature line. Neither did I replied. But here we are. Do you think you'll ever forgive me? Her eyes looked different now, like they belonged to someone I didn't know anymore. I thought about it. Really thought about it. Maybe someday for the kids' sake. But some things you just can't take back. She nodded, not arguing. And then she signed. As she walked out the door, I felt something I didn't expect, relief. The pain wasn't gone. Not by a long shot. But for the first time since that awful day in Baltimore, I could see a path forward. A fresh start for me and the kids. We'd be okay. Not the same, but okay. Bye.